Jeff Pearson, the man who outsmarted the police, Part 2. Hours had passed, but inside that small gray room, time didn't move. It broke. The air felt heavier, the fluorescent light above flickered softly, and even the security camera seemed tired. Detective Owens stared at Jeff from behind the glass, jaw tight, eyes red. "He's not cracking," the junior officer whispered. Owens didn't respond. He just kept watching the monitor, watching a man who had no reason to be this calm. Most suspects begged to go home by now. They'd cry, plead, scream, anything to escape the four walls closing in. But Jeff had turned that silence into a weapon. He sat perfectly still, elbows on the table, eyes locked on the camera. Every few minutes he'd shift his gaze, not randomly, but deliberately, like he knew where they were standing behind the mirror. It was working. The detectives weren't interrogating him anymore. They were studying him, trying to understand how a man with nothing to lose could still feel like the one in control. At 3:17 a.m., Owens slammed through the door one last time. His shirt was untucked, his voice raw. "You think you're smarter than me, Pearson?" Jeff didn't blink. "I don't think. I know." The detective froze mid-step. Something about the certainty in Jeff's tone hit differently. It wasn't arrogance, it was knowledge. Owens leaned forward, both palms flat on the table. "You think this little act is gonna save you? We've got evidence. We've got a witness." Jeff interrupted. "Then charge me." Owens stared at him. "Charge me or let me go," Jeff said slowly. "That's how it works, remember?" Owens' lips tightened. He didn't respond. By now Jeff's withdrawal was visible, sweat dripping, eyes tired, but he refused to show weakness. Inside, he was suffering. His body screamed for a fix, but he clung to one truth. If he cracked first, they'd win. He thought of all the times before being shoved into corners, lied to, beaten down, promised help that never came. Not this time. This time, Jeff wasn't the victim. He was the one running the game. The silence stretched again, 15 seconds, 30, a full minute. Owens finally exhaled, turned around, and walked out. "Behind the glass," Morris whispered. "We're losing him." "We already lost," Owens muttered. At 4:02 a.m., the precinct's clock hit the 12-hour mark since Jeff's arrest. And that meant one thing. If they hadn't filed charges by now, they'd have to release him. Owens knew it. Morris knew it. And Jeff? He'd been counting down since the minute he sat in that chair. A young officer entered the observation room holding a form. "Sir, the DA says we don't have enough to hold him." Owens stared at the paper, his knuckles white around the edges. "He walks," the officer said quietly. Owens looked through the mirror one last time. Jeff sat there, smirking faintly like he could feel their frustration through the glass. At 4:15 a.m., the door opened. Jeff stood up slowly as the handcuffs were removed. His wrists were red, but his expression never changed. Owens stood by the door. "You think you won, Pearson?" Jeff looked at him calmly. You arrested the wrong guy." Owens stepped closer. "You're not innocent." Jeff smiled faintly. "Maybe not, but you still lost." And with that, he walked out of the station, disappearing into the early morning mist. The city was quiet, empty streets, glistening with rain, streetlights humming in the distance. Jeff pulled his hoodie tighter and vanished into the dark, leaving behind a room full of exhausted detectives who still couldn't figure out what just happened. A week later, the case file was quietly closed. The pharmacy had upgraded its security, but the robber was never found. Some officers still believed it was Jeff, they just couldn't prove it. Others said he was too clever, that he'd planned the whole thing from the start, even down to getting caught. But nobody really knew. What they did know was that Jeff Pearson had become something else entirely, a story whispered around police stations and interrogation rooms. The junkie who outsmarted the cops. For months, new recruits were told the story as a warning. Never underestimate the quiet ones. But what they didn't realize was that Jeff wasn't just quiet. He was patient. He knew how to read people, how to twist their rhythm, how to make them chase him instead of the truth. He didn't beat the system by force. He did it by understanding it. 12 months after that night, Jeff Pearson vanished completely. No new arrests, no sightings, nothing. Some said he overdosed and died anonymously. Others claimed he moved states and changed his name. Detective Owens retired the same year. He never solved another case after that. In interviews, he called Jeff the most manipulative mind he'd ever encountered. But in his private notes, he wrote something far more revealing. He didn't outsmart me, he understood me. And that's what scared me the most. In a world of evidence, confessions, and lies, Jeff Pearson proved something chilling. You don't need a weapon to win. Sometimes, silence is sharper than any blade, and patience can destroy even the strongest investigation. Because when a suspect stops playing by your rules, you realize the game was never yours to begin with. Sometimes, the smartest man in the room isn't wearing a badge.